So this fight has been hyped up beyond belief by manga readers. Last week and just a couple of weeks ago, I remember some people were hyping up this fight, and I completely understand why. The fight ended in the way that I was predicting. I did not think Deku would come out on top. If this was a normal shonen series, I would expect Deku would win the whole fucking thing, to be honest, because that's how it is. But I do appreciate that not only did he lose, but goddamn how he loses is really unexpected, because all along Todoroki refuses to use his father's ability, his fire. He only wants to use the ice. And it makes sense, we understood it, but we got even more fleshing out of his backstory. And the most painful aspect isn't that his father was emotionally and physically abusive to him and his mother, is what happens when his mother is talking on the phone and she's saying like, I can't even look at him because of his other side of his face, and Todoroki hears that, and then she hurts him, to then his father locking her away into, like, I assume a mental hospital. That's hard to watch, and it makes it even more clear why he is so against his father, because if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for his father giving him half of his ability, this never would have happened. He never would have lost his mother. So I love that all throughout the fight, it's not that Deku's trying to win. He's trying to break Todoroki free to accepting All Might's words, which is, even though you may have inherited your abilities from your parents, your abilities are your own. You are your own person, and even if you hate your father, even if that flame that your father uses, you hate for what he's trying to use it for, you can use it for your own thing. And his ability has limits, which we see his ice ability, that the more he uses it, the more kind of like, he can only endure so much ice. So if he was to use his fire, he can melt that. And I assume the limitation to his fire is it's probably something like Bakugo, where he kind of has like an endurance thing, like the more flames he uses, the kind of weaker he gets, the adrenaline, and just like his endurance wears, the more he uses his flame. I assume that's the weakness on the flame sides. But I think it's really cool how they kind of work hand in hand. But if he was to use it, he could easily beat Deku, but because he's only using half his power, Deku is pushing him to his limits. Like, Deku is sacrificing finger after finger, his arms, his legs, he is giving his all. But when you see at the end that his entire goal is to break Todoroki free, he's wanting to save his friend. He wants his friend to accept who he is because he doesn't want to win against a half-assed opponent. You have to be a hero who gives it your all. You have to give it your all. Your opponent has to give it your all. And if you're going to come out on top, you have to be on equal playing terms. And they're not. The final attack, when they're going in between hot and cold, the explosion, Deku charging in, they have to stop it. Damn, like that was just, I think the execution was brilliant. And I think really what made it like just flow so well is the OST. The OST really heightened the mood and the emotions for this episode. But not to say the art quality and animation didn't also do some pretty incredible things. Just that to see Deku, like we've seen Deku's body take some beatings, but to see it like this, holy hell. And I just love all the individual characters thinking like, oh, he's probably just thinking that he can get repaired by the nurse. Other people are seeing it like, no, he knows what he needs to do. He knows how much he has to push himself if he wants to win. But also some of the people are noticing like, he's actually got some control on his ability. Like, yes, he's shattering his bones, but he's not just doing it with every attack. He's actually has some sort of control. And I love that because Deku is someone who started out with a great power that he couldn't use at all, and we're watching him slowly grow into that power. And even though he lost, that crowd's impressed. Like, that crowd is impressed that he was even able to get a hit on Todoroki, and the fact that he was able to push Todoroki into using his other ability, that's good for both sides. And I'm just going to be interested because they got a couple ways that they could take this. All Might may not announce that he's going to make Deku his successor until maybe he actually wins the tournament. I could see them doing something like that, but I loved how the fight was handled. I mean, just the overall production quality was top-notch from both visual and audio, but I think just how they layered the backstory in two separate ways. The first being with the painful aspects of the backstory to show why he's only using his ice, to when Deku breaks free his mentality, that triggers another flashback of when he's listening to All Might's own words, and that lets him use his ability. I love how two flashbacks are used for two different things, and I love how it kind of comes full circle. This episode was great. I think the series overall is great, and the fact that this isn't atypical shonen, you don't know exactly what could happen, if the main character will win, if he will lose, and ultimately how everything will play out. And I'm really excited for the conversation between Todoroki and his father next week, because he's thinking, my boy's finally listening to me. But we all know that's not the case, and I just can't wait for him to hopefully give him the middle finger and freeze his father and walk away or something like that. But I'm just noticing a lot of the times, because I haven't watched Season 1 since it aired originally, it seems like constantly I'll get people in the comment section who will explain things about powers to me, and I just think, oh, that was probably in Season 1 and I just forgot it, or they just never explained it. And then the very next week, they explain it in the episode. So please, no more of this, no more people explaining specifics of powers in the episode. Unless it's been a few episodes and they still haven't explained it, because like a lot of the stuff that was explained in terms of the limitations of Bakugo, I got explained last week. It's not a big deal, like spoilers don't ruin things for me, but it's just like if I can avoid it, I want to. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I mean, based on the reaction, I think manga readers are pretty fucking happy with this episode, but let me know your thoughts, manga readers, anime originals. How did you enjoy the episode? What was your favorite moment? Because I honestly think my favorite moment is the fact of just seeing Todoroki's mother in that kind of flashback where she's kind of denying, like, wanting to look at her own son, because that was painful as hell. But let me know yours, and before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.